tiny dinosaur. I know he's supposed to be a plastic dinosaur, but this is shrinkage, no matter how you look at it. Honey, I shrunk the dinosaur! Hello everybody, Sparkster1701 here. Well, it's Legacy Evolution Month, as we've already started. And several months back I did promise to all of you that we would be reviewing these figures as they came. Back in March I did cover the Power of the Primes version of the Dinobots and their combined form of Volcanicus, due to the fact that in this new toy line that we're getting right now, the Dinobots are returning as core class figures, and they will make Volcanicus again, but in a different configuration. So we're going to kick things off with that by showing the Dinobots in order. I don't have all of them yet because they all haven't been released yet, but as of the date of this recording, I do have at least half of them. So we're going to kick things off with number 1 in the series, Sludge. Of course, Sludge was a Dinobot from the Generation 1 era, where he functioned as the jungle and swamp warrior. And being the fact that he transformed into an Apatosaurus, he was also capable of stomping the earth and creating some micro-earthquakes, which could destabilize other Transformers in the area. However, Sludge was also famous for being notoriously stupid. And sometimes he would end up stomping in an area he shouldn't have stomped on, like an area with soft ground, and he would end up collapsing the ground around himself, thus necessitating that he needed to be rescued. So not exactly the brightest bulb in the batch. And of course, he's number 1 in the series, and he will form the lower body of Volcanicus. So he will basically be forming the hips and the underside of the torso. Now, while Sludge here doesn't have any accessories, he does have one part that did have to be attached to the toy when you buy him, and that is, of course, the dinosaur head. As you can see on a rather new sample, it does come off very, very easily, so do be careful of that if you're looking for one loose on the market. Alright, at any rate, let's take a look at his articulation, and it's going to be somewhat limited for a toy like him due to all the dinosaur kibble. His head can be turned from side to side, but unfortunately that's all it can do. It can't be moved any other ways. His arms can be raised out to the side, about so far. They do rotate at the shoulder all the way, but you got to keep it out a bit so that way it clears the dinosaur leg. Unfortunately, that's all the articulation that you can do with his arms. He can be twisted at his hips. The dinosaur head kind of limits how much you can do, but you can twist him. His legs can spread apart, surprisingly, into a full splits. But of course it also raises up the hip shield. He has no thigh cut at all. And you can raise the leg at the hip 90 degrees, and he can bend at the knee 90 degrees. So he's got some articulation going for him. Just a little bit hampered by the new design. Alright, let's get Sludge here transformed, and since he's a core class figure, that's not very difficult to do. We come around here to his backside. We're going to raise the dinosaur head just a bit. And then we will push his shoulders inwards to bring his arms together. Kind of line his arms up and snap them together. So as you can see, behind his shoulders are some dinosaur legs. And then while you've got him, you're going to turn him around up there at his chest a bit. So now that he's facing the other way. We'll come down here to his legs. You're going to press his legs together. And you'll fold the combined legs upwards like so a bit, because they're going to form the tail. And then you work on adjusting the arms and the tail until you get them to be able to come together and snap together like that, so that they form the dinosaur's back. Then, of course, once you've done that, then you can completely bring up the dinosaur head and pop it into place. And there you have it. A tiny Apatosaurus. Almost looks cute in a way, doesn't it? Cute and possibly silly looking. Now, there is instructions on the back of the package to turn him into his combiner piece for Volcanicus, but we'll do that when we're going to cover Volcanicus himself, since I will want to show you how to build Volcanicus, and it'll just be easier to show them all off together. So now we get down to my thoughts. What do I think of this version of Sludge? It's interesting, and it's also a bit irritating in both ways. I'm going to say that it's interesting due to the fact this is an experiment by Hasbro, because they've never done a figure in core class. They've never done a combiner, I should say, in core class size. So this is a bit of an experiment. And I'm trying to give it some benefit of the doubt, since I don't really have anything to compare him to besides the original Volcanicus, and right now it's not fair to make that kind of a comparison. We don't have all of this one just yet. However, I mean, I can see that he is limited on his articulation as a robot, and as a dinosaur, he has none whatsoever, because all the limbs are locked into the position that they're in, so they cannot be moved. So it does limit some of the playability on him. But I do want to hold back on some of my judgment on him and the other Dinobots, due to the fact that I want to see how the experiment looks when it's all done. And I really didn't want to do a dedicated month to Volcanicus again in the same year, especially when it could probably be into next year before I get to build him. Kind of depends on how available the component parts get to be. Because this one I had to buy online. I couldn't find him in my stores. But all in all, I am anxious to see how it turns out. He does transform very easily and without any effort, without any real effort, so he is a great one for children. It will be a great one for children to have. And I just hope that in the end the experiment will pay off and maybe we'll get more combiners in the core class size. At any rate, that's my review of the Legacy Evolution version of Sludge. I hope you all enjoyed it. And please do remember that if you like the content we feature on this channel, please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Sparkster1701 saying more Legacy Evolution is coming up this month, so we'll catch you all later.